everybody, and welcome to Module 2 of the course. It's actually the third module in the course, and it is a 4-week-long module that ends with the submission of one project. At the very end of this module, you will want to submit the Diverse Learners Project, and that makes sense because the readings leading up to that submission point have a lot to do with diversity and multiculturalism. Chapter 3, so let's see, over the 4-week module, you've got 1 week discussion boards. You've got 4 of them, right? So the first week of this 4-week module, you're going to have a discussion over Chapter 3 related topic. The second week, Chapter 4. The third week, Chapter 5. And the fourth week, Chapter 7. These first 3 chapters, they're all pretty closely related. It makes sense why they're tied together, and it also makes sense why you have that Diverse Learners Project at the end. Chapter 3 is about diversity, which includes topics related to LGBT, bilingual education, stereotypes. Chapter 4 is about student life in school and at home, which also brings in issues of diversity because in the school we try to create this almost standardized experience. We have the same rules applying to pretty much all the students, kind of sort of thing. But at home, students go into vastly different environments and where the rules might be very different. So that's Chapter 4. Chapter 5 is the multicultural history of American education. So those 3 chapters together give you a good foundation in issues related to diversity, multiculturalism, appreciating differences and learning how you address differences in a classroom where you might need everybody to be achieving the same standards or improving on the same speech skills if you're a speech language pathologist. Those 3 chapters, again, they're for the first 3 weeks of the module, and then Chapter 7 is the 4th one, and you kind of go in a totally different area with that. It's about financing and governing American schools. So what I'd like to say though about these chapters is I don't want to scare you by talking about your field experience too much, but you do want to start making some headway on that field experience. So as you're reading through these chapters, or what I would suggest, let me just back up. I would suggest that you go check out what the final product is for the field experience. And that is, there's 2 things that will be due when you're done with your 10 hours. There's 2 things that you have to turn in to get that grade and to pass the class. Remember, the field experience is super just weighty in terms of blocking your progress if you don't do it. If you do it, you just get, a few grades and hopefully a really awesome experience. But if you don't do it, you could fail the class. So let's talk about that very quickly. I want you to look at the assignment that you submit. In particular, in this case, I'm talking about the reflection paper that you write as part of your field experience. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can open it here so that I can sort of guide you. So I'm on the wiki. I'm looking at the field experience page. It's that long page. It's got all kinds of, probably way more information than you really want. But if you go all the way to the bottom, or near the bottom, to the wrap-up activities, what you have to do in that field experience reflection is you have to talk about what happened. So what did you see? Maybe a little bit about what did you do? Who were you with? Where were you? What happened? Notable interactions with people. Okay, so that's sort of what happened. And then part 2 is what you think about what happened. So this is where you exercise a little more judgment. This is where you have the opportunity to bring things into your field experience, what happened, looking at what happened, and thinking about it maybe through the lens of some of the readings you're doing in this textbook. So, for example, the way I've organized the field experience reflection, part 2, is I want you to think, how did this experience make you think about education? That's sort of a broad question. And then I tell you to choose 2 to 5 topics or issues from the following course-related topics to focus on. How did the topic or issue show up in your setting? What more has your field experience taught you about these topics or issues? So some of the topics include Chapter 2's learning styles topic. Are you witnessing evidence of learning styles? Are you seeing any issues related to learning styles at play in your setting? Multiple intelligence is also chapter 2. Special needs, chapter 2. All right, chapter 3, diversity and multiculturalism. Gender, chapter 4. Poverty, chapter 4. Rituals and routines, chapter 4. And you may find some other topics in the readings. So I want you to be thinking, okay, what's the field experience I've selected, and how do these readings apply to it? And you could take notes for things to look for in your field experience. You could, if you've already started your field experience, as you read the textbook chapters, I would suggest you be taking notes about, oh, I saw that in my field experiences, and here's what I thought, and now that I've read this about it, it kind of makes sense in a different way, and I understand it differently. So I urge you, while you're reading this huge textbook, to be sort of working your way towards making sense of that field experience. Okay? So that was just my little field experience plug. I will go ahead and wrap this up. Module 2 is basically 4 weeks, 4 discussions, 1 discussion per week, and then you end with that diverse learners project. But along the way, I'm hoping that you're working on that field experience and getting that done. All right. We'll see you online, guys.